Nigeria. What's your how do you see this? What's your view on it?
Well, so a, I guess the most useful way to understand what is going on for, I guess, a geopolitical beginner is to examine what Ted Cruz has said about places around the world where the exact thing he claims is happening in Nigeria are actually happening. So, for example, what has Ted Cruz said about what is going on in Gaza, for example? That gives you a very useful window into what is not being said as against what is being said. And what is not being said is that clearly the issue here is not whether there is persecution taking place against a certain group of people or not. It's not whether there are killings targeting a certain group disproportionately or not. That is actually not the issue that the Americans are concerned with. The issue they are in fact concerned with is their geopolitical interests. So depending on where those interests lie, it might be expedient to them to play up a certain narrative, whether real or imagined. In this case, there is definitely an element of truth to it. I myself have covered some of these stories in the past. However, that is not to say that what Ted Cruz is saying is actually, in fact, true. Because there are several ways to tell lies. One of the ways you can tell lies is to lie by omission. And what he is not saying, for example, is that, yes, in parts of the Middle Belt and the north of Nigeria, Christians, and this is backed up by data, by the way, Christians do die, and they do so in some cases disproportionately as compared to other populations. However, Christians are not the only ones dying, and they're not the only ones targeted in these places. What he's intentionally not mentioning is that the key thing that all these places affected by this violence in Nigeria happen to have in common is that these are all areas which are rich in the very exact resources that the United States government is after, specifically rare earth mineral resources. At a point when over 70% of rare earths are controlled by China, and as you know, there's a trade war going on between the US and China, and the US is trying to secure as much of these rare earth minerals as possible for the sake of its future economic and shooting war with China, which is going to happen. It only makes sense that any area which is rich in those resources and which the US government considers to be ruled by a weak government, you're going to start hearing these narratives about them. This has happened multiple times before. I mean, we're all old enough here to remember when there was a time when this exact campaign was rolled out regarding Iraq and Saddam Hussein supposedly had weapons of mass destruction. Iraq was going to destroy the world. And in order to save the world from the threat of this horrible dictator in Baghdad, then the US and NATO had to combine their military strength and roll into Iraq and basically neutralize Saddam Hussein. And obviously, as we found out at leisure, this whole narrative was constructed on a fiction. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein was not a threat to anyone in any way. And the actual objective of going into Iraq was not to fight terrorism or to neutralize any weapons of mass destruction. The actual goal of invading Iraq was to seize resources. That is what it has always been about. That is what it will always be about. So for those who, I guess, aren't really tapped into how the world works and the rules on which the geopolitical world operates, that's what they need to understand, that when you see characters like Ted Cruz making statements, right, these sort of dyed-in-the-wool neoconservative, members of the American establishment, these war hawks making these noises, when you see people like Eric Prince, for example, who is the CEO of the founder of the now disgraced Blackwater mercenary group, a mercenary group whose behavior was so criminal that it was actually prosecuted by the US government. When you see people like that then coming out in public and saying that they would like to lead military expeditions into Nigeria supposedly to save Christians, then you really need to ask yourself, what is the objective here? Is the objective for a group of white Americans to save a group of Black African Christians whom they didn't know existed last week? Or what could be in service to their geopolitical goals that these populations have that they want. That's a more useful way of examining it. And once you see those lens, it's easier to sort of see through the noise and not get lost in the narratives that people try to construct. Because I can assure you that there's no member of the US establishment, be it a conservative, be it a liberal, be it a war hawk, be it a dove, whatever it is, that has any interest in protecting any group or any subset of Nigerians from another subset of Nigerians or Africans. As far as people are concerned, we are all one single thing. We're all a monolith. So the idea that whether Christians are in fact being targeted with violence or not, that somehow is a problem for the US government to fix. Anybody who holds that idea in their head in this part of the world needs to wash their head with soap, needs to get that idea out of their head. That's a dangerous idea. That's a destructive idea. There's a lot of historical precedent, including very recent precedent. You remember Nigeria is basically 2 borders away from like the world's biggest example of why US military intervention in a country is a very terrible idea, right? Libya, this wasn't that long ago. So coming from the neighborhood that we come from and having lived through the experiences, very recent experiences that we have lived through, we should know better by now.
David, we're going to unpack everything that you have said now, because I know it's an introductory statement that you needed to make clear with no ambiguity, anywhere whatsoever. But we still need to unpack a few things. A few weeks ago, the vice president of Nigeria was at the UNGA 80, and he made the position of the country known. Soon afterwards, we started hearing all of these things. I heard what you said about resource and access and all of those things, which is also a factor. But my question is, why are all of these coming right after the vice president's speech? Is there a connection to it, or this is purely based on rare earth minerals and resource, Nigeria's local resource?
So it's a bit of both. There's a bit of, I guess, what you would call political opportunism. So it would be that, first of all, if you recall, the vice president's speech came, I believe, the day after or 2 days after an official UN report designated what was happening in Gaza as a genocide.
That's right.
So basically, at that point, at the point we're in now, the official verdict of history is that the US and its vassal states in the Middle East are in fact committing a genocide against the indigenous population. So at that exact moment, there needed to be something to change the narrative, to deflect at that point. So it was a very convenient thing to bring up that, well, even if a genocide is being committed in Gaza against the majority Muslim population, well, think about this other country, a few thousand kilometers to the west of Gaza, a country that most of you cannot find on the map, and which you probably didn't know existed last week. And let's start talking about this other thing, right? So that we can stop talking about this. It's a tactic of bad faith argument, which is called the whataboutism, right? So I know there's a genocide, an officially, legally recognized genocide going on in Gaza, a genocide that has been recognized by the ICC, the ICJ, and the UN as a genocide. That is happening. But instead of talking about that, what about this other thing, which we will then tenuously call a genocide, even though there actually hasn't been any legal proclamation by any of these institutions designating it as such. So there's this 9 out of 10 here. But instead of talking about the 9 out of 10, let's look at this tenuous 3 or 4 out of 10. And somehow that's supposed to take attention away from the obvious 9 out of 10. So that's I guess the opportunism that you're referring to. But over and above that, there has been a clear and unmistakable geopolitical movement over the past few months and years that has led up to this moment. And what I need Nigerian Christians in particular to understand is that the fact of your religious faith, your religious identity, your religious belief is, in the eyes of those who run global geopolitics, is nothing more than a calculation, a chessboard.
It's nothing more than a strategy, a calculation, a chess move or something. That's what it is to them.
Nobody actually cares whether you are Christian or you're Muslim or you worship a Shigiti, you are atheist, whatever it is. It's actually not important in the geopolitical calculation of the world. What is important is, first of all, what resources are present where you are? How can you and the resources under your feet be useful to those who consider themselves to be the countries that actually matter? That is the calculation that is being made. So the fact of you being Christian or you being Muslim or you being Igbo or being Hausa or being Yoruba, whatever you are, the world outside doesn't really care about these things. These things are only useful for the purpose of dividing you strategically so that some sort of geopolitical or military objective can be reached. And by the way, we have a very, very long history of having these exact games being practiced on us and having these tactics used successfully against us. So the very last group of people in the world, in my opinion, who should be falling for this is Africans. We have 500 years of recent history showing us that these geopolitical actors from the global north don't actually see us as anything other than just one black monolith. That's what they see us as, right? So the other sub-identity layers that we have historically have only ever been useful to them for the purpose of strategic division. So, this one is classified as Igbo, which is an ethnic identity that really didn't exist 200 or 300 years ago. This one is classified as Yoruba, which is another sort of ethnic panoply which didn't exist 200 or 300 years ago. And then you are pitted against each other, someone knocks your head together so that the things under your feet, which are the real prize, you continue hemorrhaging those things while you're focused on fighting this non-existent fight, this baseless fight against each other. And it's the same strategy being deployed again here, that someone is coming out to tell you that, hey, this violence happening in your country, that instead of you to see it as a national problem for you to fix using your sovereign instruments of state, instead of you seeing it as a problem of state capacity, which is fundamentally what it is, because when you have these non-state actors that have the capacity to overrun your state actors, your security agencies, that's what it is. Your sovereignty is being violated. And instead of you seeing it as that, you rather start seeing it as a religious quarrel or an ethnic dispute. And then you start being receptive to the idea of an outsider coming in to further violate that sovereignty, which is already being violated, and somehow that's supposed to be the solution. So currently, your problem is at an amplitude of 5 out of 10. And what is being presented to you as a solution is something which is going to bring it up to an amplitude of 9.8 out of 10. It's going to worsen your situation. It's not going to solve your problem at all. So I really do wish that people would analyze this more dispassionately and stop sort of letting that immediate rush of emotion, because your religious identity, as you mentioned, dictates their reaction. Because I promise you, this has nothing to do with your religion. This has nothing to do with your ethnicity or your tribe or whatever. And this has everything to do with the things under your feet, because the global north places more value on the things under your feet than on the people who are walking on top of those things. Global north sees value in the minerals that are buried in African soil, but not the people who are walking above those minerals. And it's very important that we understand that.
David, why this conversation is very critical is the fact that, and there's no gainsaying it, that we can't shy away from it. Propaganda is very, very powerful, and propagandists, they know how to use this weapon pretty well. All they need is just an iota of truth, some sprinkle of truth in what they're saying, and then they expand it. And they know that, especially in Nigeria, we're a very religious people, where you can do anything to our father, we may not even care. But once you touch our religion, all hell will let loose, and that will be, we don't care again, whatever happens. And I guess my question is, and I know that you've mentioned it, but I just wanted to expatiate on it. Like, what do we stand to lose in a situation whereby, if anything happens to us personally, individually, we may even forgive the person. You slapped me. Don't do it again. But if it comes to our religion like this, you cannot beg them. You cannot beg Nigerians about this. What do we stand to lose should this catch fire? You, me, Other brilliant journalists and commentators, we are trying as much as possible to educate people. And like you have repeatedly said, we've seen this before. And when you even tell people that this has happened before, it's almost like nobody's listening to you. Perhaps if we look at what we stand to lose, should we give this? Should we give this, that energy that the propagandists in those places are hoping that would? What are those things that we stand to lose, David?
Well, it's very difficult to explain the concept of loss to people who believe that they have no experience. And I think that's one of the psychological problems that faces the Nigerian population. The Nigerian population has been conditioned into thinking that where they are is the absolute worst place in the world. There's absolutely nothing worse, and there's absolutely nothing that can be worse than where they are. And historically, that sentiment has been exploited multiple times to the end of getting Nigerians to a place where it's even worse than where they were before.
Wow.
What I would say is, again, Nigeria is 2 national borders away from the biggest example of where this has happened. Libya is literally 2 borders away from Nigeria. So it's Nigeria, Chad, Libya, basically.
David, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you. When we return from this break, I will come back to this particular conversation. We'll take it from there. Lagos, we need to take a quick break. When we return, David is still here, and we'll have this conversation further. Stay with us, please.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
When the Libyan
99.3 is how you can watch this show. I've got on the show today, I've got David Hunday. David Hunday is an investigative journalist. He's an author. He's also a commentator. He's worked in different fields, from tech to finance to politics to governance, even to culture as well. He's done quite a huge work in those areas, and he joins us virtually this evening. David, thank you again for joining us. Before the break, we're talking about what we stand to lose as a people. Should we fall for this propaganda?
Yes. And I was saying that, I mean, we're 2 national borders away from the largest example, the largest cautionary tale of what happens when you allow external interests from the global north interfere, especially militarily, in your local issues. Right? If you recall, when the Libyan invasion started off, it didn't start off as an invasion. The actors who had an interest in going into Libya to steal Libyan oil and gold didn't come saying, we are here to steal Libya's oil and gold. They came saying, Gaddafi is a terrible dictator who is oppressing his people and who is murdering civilian protesters in Benghazi, and we're here to help because we have a responsibility to protect. That was the ground on which they came. If you recall, Nigeria and South Africa actually voted in favor of the UN resolution that was used as the basis for that military campaign, because the Jedi mind trick that was played on the world was that this is not a military expedition. We're not going in there to fight a war. We're just going in there to protect civilians. Even the language they used was very clever. They didn't say we are going to launch airstrikes against the Gaddafi regime or government or whatever. Instead, they said we are going to establish a no-fly zone. So the implication that you take away from that is, Gaddafi's air force is bombing Libya, and so they're establishing a no-fly zone. They're trying to protect civilians. In actual fact, what a no-fly zone means, in addition to stopping the opposition's planes from flying, is that you're also going to carry out airstrikes against the opposition's military infrastructure that can be used to facilitate flights. And that is a very, very broad description. That was a description that was so broad, in fact, that the NATO coalition conducted 7,000 airstrikes in just 8 months against Libya, under the guise of responsibility to protect civilians. I repeat, 7,000 airstrikes. These people destroyed Libya as a going concern. Libya is no longer a country. There is no longer a country called Libya, right? It doesn't say what the place, the geographical area that refer to as Libya doesn't have one single capital anymore, isn't ruled by one single government anymore. It's just a collection of eternally warring interests. Now, that is what was done when these same people, these exact same characters, including people like Ted Cruz, started making these exact noises about trying to help protect some poor, oppressed, downtrodden African population 2 borders away from us. That is what was done. Libya was completely destroyed. Libyan infrastructure was destroyed. One of the things that was destroyed under this supposed responsibility to protect was the Great Man-Made River Project. For those who don't know, Libya, obviously, which is majority desert, had discovered billions of cubic feet of water in a deep underground aquifer. And the government was working on a project called the Great Man-Made River Project to pump out this water and basically turn a large district of Libya from the desert it was into a green area once again, like it was thousands of years ago. And these people came and bombed that infrastructure, bombed essentially Libya back to the Stone Age under the guise of protecting Libyans. So were they protecting Libyans, or were they in fact doing everything they could to keep a country at a certain level of poverty so that it could remain easily exploitable, so that they could take all the things they ended up taking away from it? Like, for example, the 144 tons of gold held in Libya's central bank, which vanished, or like Libyan oil, which is currently being extracted by all manner of Western interests and benefits everybody except Libyan people. So when Nigerians say things like, oh, it can't be worse than what we currently have, anything is better than this, and people are dying, we'll take help from wherever we can get it. After all, who else is going to help us? When they say things like that, they're not saying these things from a position of historical education. Because if you're aware of what happened just over a decade ago, you wouldn't be saying things like that. You would realize that as bad as you think you have it now, it absolutely can and will get worse if these people get involved. This is an internal Nigerian issue. This has to be treated as an internal Nigerian issue, and your sovereignty cannot be compromised in trying to fix this issue. Because once you compromise your sovereignty in this manner, you will never get it back. The same way the Iraqis never got their sovereignty back. They're still not a sovereign country. They're still under occupation since 2003. Same way the Libyans are never going to get their sovereignty back. They're still under de facto occupation. The same way every other country that has welcomed or that has fallen prey to these games has never gotten its sovereignty back. And again, Nigerians also need to understand that maintaining your sovereignty is not a simple matter of just having national pride or something. Because I also see the narrative that, well, whose sovereignty? What have we done with the sovereignty? What have we done with our independence? Why do we even need it? And what Nigerians need to understand is the tiny little measure of freedom or self-actualization that you are allowed to have, as terrible as Nigeria is, that little measure of freedom you have only exists because of the nominal sovereignty and nominal independence that you even have. If that is taken away, you will then get to find out what it means to live as a slave. And then you will discover that living under nominal sovereignty that we currently have is infinitely better than living as a slave. And that it is in fact possible for your situation to get worse. There is such a thing as something that is much worse than what you currently have. So when responding to a situation, you don't just react emotionally and say, well, nothing can be worse than this. I will take help from anybody, including Eric Prince, the founder of Blackwater, or Ted Cruz, a bunch of war criminals. You don't do that. You sit down, you think things through carefully and methodically. What is in my interest here? And based on historical precedent, what is likely to happen if option A or option B is taken? And based on this information, what is the sensible decision to make? That's how rational people who have a future in this world take their decisions. You don't just take a decision because you're having an emotional reaction, a visceral reaction to something. That's not how the world works, and the world doesn't belong to such people.
David, I want us to dive deeper. I want us to look at the impact, the effect of this campaign. a lot of people, should I say, some Nigerians may think that it's just a campaign, it's not going to happen. I mean, they know that this is just a propaganda, it's not going to happen and all of that. They just wave it aside and they move on as usual. When we know, I mean, if you understand who you're dealing with, we're talking about an environment with a structured media where any campaign they latch on to, they can coordinate it pretty well and then make something that is not real look real, not just to Nigerians, but to the entire world. I want you to double down on, what's the effect of this? What's the impact? A lot of people may even think that this has not got anything on Nigerians, that it can affect us and everything. But some colleagues that I've spoken with are mentioning things as simple as investment opportunities, things as simple as even tourism and all of that. But let me hear from you. What do you think the impact is, or might likely be?
If you're lucky, it will be the loss of tourism and investment. If you're lucky,
that is, if you're lucky.
If you're not so lucky, then again, I'm going to have to keep on referring to the examples of Libya and Iraq because they're very close, very nearby examples. These countries never recovered. And when I say never recovered, I don't just mean their economies never recovered. I mean the national psyche has received an injury which will take centuries to heal if it never heals. These countries have been functionally destroyed, right? Because I don't think people understand the grasp the import of what it means to suffer a military invasion. And I also don't think that people realize how vulnerable Nigeria is to such a thing, or how relatively close by such a possibility actually is. Because I think, again, there's that idea that Nigeria and West Africa are an island, sort of marooned away from the rest of the world. So all those things happening in places that actually matter, like Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya and Gaza and Asia and whatnot, that somehow those things have nothing to do with us because we are just people of the sun, standing around by the beach, sipping our coconuts, and nobody really cares about us. That's not true at all. Because again, people need to, if the easiest way to understand what I'm trying to say is go Google geological map of Africa. Just Google that and see what comes up. And then understand that as an African living in Africa, you are sitting on what King Leopold of Belgium famously referred to as a geological scandal, right? What the world considers to be a geological scandal. Like, you are sitting on untold wealth, riches that even you aren't aware of, and that the world is very much aware of and considers to be the prize. And that being the case, that puts you in a uniquely dangerous situation. You are sitting on the things that everybody wants on the world's second most populous continent, and you basically have no defenses. You are basically there for the taking. So of course, people who are warlike in nature and people who have the means, the capacity to take things militarily, will be looking at that and they'll think, why don't we just take it? And they've done this several times. And as I keep saying, this happened 2 borders away from Nigeria. So what makes us think that somehow we're special? Somehow it's not going to happen to us. Why wouldn't it happen to us? And again, if you are familiar with how the media run up to 2015, for example, because I think that was the last time we saw this sort of externally orchestrated media campaign taking root in the Nigerian space. So in 2015, I worked in the marketing industry at the time. And even though I didn't fully understand what I was witnessing, I was basically in the room where the bodies were being buried. And I can tell you categorically that it's like what you just said a few moments ago, that these people have the capacity to basically shape reality. They can create a reality for you that doesn't exist. They can lock you in a false reality. They can make you believe things that aren't true. And based on that belief in things that aren't true, they can make you take decisions that are self-defeating.
Right.
I remember in 2014 and 2015, there were people who have never traveled further north than Edo State before, who were in a state of near hysteria in Lagos because they were thinking that Boko Haram was about to invade Surulere or something, right? that ability to whip you up into an emotional frenzy and then take a predetermined decision that they have determined for you based on that frenzy, that is a core skill that these people have. And they have deployed this skill very recently. They did so in 2015. Because whether people accept it or not, what happened in 2015 was a foreign orchestrated regime change operation. Whether or not you like Muhammadu Buhari or you dislike Goodluck Jonathan or vice versa, the fact is the removal of Goodluck Jonathan or the electoral loss and the entry of Muhammadu Buhari was a US orchestrated regime change operation. That is what it was. And it was successful primarily because these actors have that ability, that capacity to whip large populations of people up into emotional frenzies and make them believe things that are either absolutely not true or that are adjacent to the truth and have some element of truth in them but are misleading, and then take actions based on essentially poisoned or false information. So if they could do that to the end of influencing an election and carrying out regime change, what makes you think they're not going to do that for any other purpose that may suit their geopolitical interests, for example? So if now the place that the world is in, as I tried to explain on Twitter a few days ago, there's a trade war going on essentially between BRICS on the one hand and the NATO/US empire on the other hand. And basically BRICS controls the majority of essentially the world's mineral base.
Yeah.
And it's also, thanks to China, is also increasingly winning the industrial and intellectual property war. So what that means is that the people on the other side of the conversation are realizing that, hey, these guys that we used to lord it over are about to become to us what we were to them, and we don't want that to happen. So to stop that from happening, we need to ensure that we can keep up with them. We need to ensure that we can keep pace with China's industrial capacity, with China's and Russia's and Iran's military capacity. We need to make sure we can do that. And how do we make sure we can do that when we no longer control these large swathes of the world that we used to control? Well, what we do is that we strategically retreat, which has happened. So, for example, the strategic pullback from Taiwan, like they're ceding large parts of what used to be contested territory to China, and they're sort of pivoting back toward the Caribbean and South America and parts of Africa. That these are the places that we find easier to dominate, and these are the places that have the resources that we want and that we can get very easily. And guess what? Nigeria is front and center of that strategy. If you don't believe me, here's a very, very simple way to open your eyes. Where is the world's largest US consulate? The world's largest US consulate. Where is it being constructed?
It's right.
Largest one, larger than the one in Baghdad.
It's right here.
Iraq, larger than the one in London. Where is it being constructed? It's on Victoria Island.
Very close to be here, yes.
So yes, we are front and center of this strategy. We are being targeted, and we are just completely oblivious about the things that are happening in front of us. What inevitably is going to happen if we don't wake up in time is that we are going to end up becoming essentially a country under direct or de facto occupation. We are going to become somebody's mineral resource farm for the purpose of extracting things that will be used to keep up with China or to fight China. That's what we are going to end up as. If we don't wake up and realize the uniquely dangerous situation that we are in. So instead of either reacting emotionally to stuff that we don't fully understand, or dismissing it, oh, this conspiracy theory, because it's too difficult for us to comprehend, and maybe our frame of reference, our frame of vision is not that big. I think the more useful thing to do at this late hour that we are in now, geopolitically, we owe it to ourselves to understand the world we are living in, understand our place in it, understand how it works, and understand what it is that we need to do to survive. And I don't use that word lightly, survive, because now it's a question of survival, right? We're at a point now where the so-called international institutions no longer have the teeth that we once thought they had. The UN has come out and said what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. And what happened? Absolutely nothing. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That tells you that we are now back in that pre-1945 state of the world where a powerful country like Japan or Germany used to be would simply wake up mobilize its military, march into another country and annex it. And that was that. Might was right, right? The world post 1945 expressly forbade that, right? The entire foundational basis of the UN was that one single country cannot do such things. Yes.
Right.
Now that founding basis of the UN has been stripped away. Now we have the US military sitting off the coast of Venezuela, actively trying to provoke a reaction from the Venezuelan military, which will be used as an excuse to launch a full-scale military invasion of a sovereign country that has done nothing to them. Simply because Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. It has things that they want. That is the world we're living in. So Nigerians need to lose this idea that the US cares about who is, whether you are Christian or you are this or you are that. That is not important. What is important is what geopolitical or geostrategic value do you or the land under your feet possess to the US empire? Are you useful? Are you not? In this case, unfortunately, we are useful. We are very useful, and we are front and center of the strategy. So we need to figure out what's going on, and we need to wake the hell up.
David Hyundai, thank you so much for joining Hard Facts today. It's a pleasure speaking with you. Thank.
So you hear that, right? Clearly. Now, I'm sure you are aware that T-Pain has chosen a chairman, INEC chair. There are a lot of mixed feelings about it. Okay, a lot of mixed feelings. People have very, very serious concern about this man that has been chosen. Some of the comments I dropped in the comment section are actual concerns of people. As I've gone through the comments under the article that I saw, okay, that I shared on here. So my question to Nigerians as a whole: are you going to fold your hand and watch this happen in real time? Because this man is not even pretending. He doesn't care. He's not even interested. He is doing it in your face. I have never seen a most bigoted government than this in my entire life. Even when they had northern leaders leading, I know they support any one of them because they have not done anything to anybody to improve the lives of anybody. So I don't have anything to lose or gain by saying this. Not be my papa. My papa not dey government, chop government money. Okay? So I don't get any relative when dey government, when you don't ever dey government. So my interest is totally neutral here. But I have to tell you guys, this is the most bigoted government that you've ever come across. The man is not even pretending. I've said it here numerous times. Tinubu is enjoying his Yoruba nation at the expense of each and everyone, even his so-called Yoruba people. Because the people that are actually enjoying this whole thing are his Lagosian loyalists. His Lagosian loyalists, those are the people enjoying this whole mess. And anyone else who is loyal, you have to be loyal to the death to T-Pain. Okay, so now he's chosen an INEC chair. People are saying, oh, he's not Yoruba. They're trying to push it and say, oh, he's not Yoruba because he's Kwara or Big Kogi or whatever, right? And people are now coming, they had to now go and dig up where exactly the man comes from to show that he's indeed Yoruba. Do you understand? And to be quite honest with you, I empathize with some of my Yoruba brothers and sisters that have been standing on the side of truth. I know it's not easy. When it seems like your whole tribe, everybody is just coming for it from every angle. I can empathize. I empathize with you because even me, as somebody who grew up and enjoyed growing up as a child in Ibadan, I have secondhand embarrassment for this whole thing that's happening. But Nigerians, are you guys ready? At this rate, there won't be election. Let me just be the first one. I know we've been saying it before, but right now it is clear there will be no election. Now, how many of the people, they said the people that chose him are a organization of state council. How many of una people dey there when they choose this man as the new INEC chair? Whose interest do you think is going to come and serve? Do you understand? Yeah, Jumpam, Mampam, welcome. Well, I don't know, because there are other options that Nigeria can use. Okay, there are other options that Nigeria can use to protect the people in Nigeria. It doesn't have to be the US, please, because the US does not have, they don't have good history with invading people's society. Okay, there are people who are contractors that, there are options of contractors that can be used. I don't even want to go into that because I don't know the intricacies of it, but everybody's pushing against it because of the history of what the countries that the US has invaded and the mess they're in. So a lot of people are against it, unfortunately. This is why when you do things in fairness, you do what you got to do and leave. You don't leave people worse than they ought to be. So I am sitting on the fence on this one. I am, because I understand that the Christians in Nigeria need help, and I'm not going to stand in the way of them trying to get that. I will never do it. And I also understand people who are saying no, we don't want the US involved, and I don't blame them. Right? So anyway, let me take a few videos here and then we'll just move it along, okay? So they say the National Council of State unanimously approves appointment of Professor Amupitan, or however way it is pronounced. Okay? That's what they are saying. All right. Well, let me see.
So the newly Congratulations to the newly appointed INEC chairman, Professor Joash Ojo Amukpiton, SAN, from Ijumu local government area of Kogi State. Our dear Professor Amukpiton, SAN, sir, you are welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having us. It good as you come, so Professor Amukpiton, a lot they on ground. A lot they go on, so you are very, very welcome. Professor Amukpiton, the people will appoint you as INEC chairman. It gets many reasons why they pick you to head the agency. A lot went into the decision to finally reach say now you go head that agency. Because even the president will go don't appoint you as INEC chairman, he go be player and be contestant for the match where you go be referee. So you see as it be now, a lot of interest go there where they go expect say you go service. So we understand all of those optics. But our dear Professor Amukpiton, on behalf of Nigerian people, we they tell you say the choice is yours to decide which line to toe or which legacy to build. Whether to stand on the part of the Nigerian people, to serve your country with the fear of God and for the betterment of this country, or you go come to protect the interest of criminal politicians in power who are only interested in capturing power for the sake of power and their selfish interests, and will stop at nothing to destroying this nation just to hijack that power. It is up to you. Our dear Professor Amukpiton, the agency where you don't come to head so is a cesspool of corruption. In fact, the agency is the direct weapon fashioned against Nigeria's moving forward. INEC and the Nigerian judiciary. Your immediate predecessor, the professor of glitches, Mahmoud Yakubu, has left a 10-year legacy of glitches and electoral banditry. So the agency is filled with landmines and all forms of corruption where you go need to attend to. A lot there on ground where you go need to start to look into, because we know say as you don't come, your first speech, you go talk am, say you will address this, you will reform this, you will improve this. Super story. Professor Mahmoud talk all those tales by moonlight tire. He do pass this one. At the end of 10 years, waiting happen. Now glitches, they follow and they go. So Professor Amukpiton, We Nigerians, we welcome you with open hands and with open arms. A lot is on ground for you to address. List of political parties where INEC don't refuse to register. Pending legal cases, electoral reform on, the use of electronic technology, where Mahmoud promised say he will reduce human interference, only to become the major human interference. It is up to you, Professor Amukbiton. We just want to charge you as a concerned people and as Nigerians. Say at the end of your administration, because your time starts now, it can end in Thanksgiving. But my major and last charge to you as we welcome you be say, I will charge you from your own first name, Joash. That name, Joash, is the name of one of the youngest kings in the Bible. King Joash became king of Judah at the age of 7 years. But before becoming king, there was an attempt to kill him when he was smaller by his own grandmother, the powerful Queen Athaliah. But somehow he survived because he was saved by the person who was nursing him. And he became king and ruled under the guidance of Jehoiada. He did very well when he was under the guidance of Jehoiada. When Jehoiada died, Joash decided to turn away from the way of God, turn away from his reforms, and start to follow the things of the world. Waiting happened. He began to fail. And at the end, he was killed, assassinated by his own officials. Professor Joash Amukbiton, you can decide to be the King Joash of the Bible. You can decide to serve the Nigerian people with the fear of God and to make sure you write your name in gold, that you help this country to move forward, because a lot is at stake. And we promise you that if you stand with the Nigerian people and do the right thing and uphold the rule of law at all times, it will end in Thanksgiving. But if you decide to protect the interests of criminal elements in public office who are only interested in power for the sake of power, then they and the people will reject you. But until then, we welcome you. You go to hear from us. My name na Peter for Nigeria. I no get work. Now will not be our work. My only work is for Nigeria to better. So you go to hear from us steady. Make you not think say we dey fight you. No, we dey fight the enemies of Nigeria so that this country go better. Congratulations to you and your beloved wife, Dr. Yemisi Olukbiton, and your entire family. We pray and hope that you succeed, because when you succeed, Nigeria succeeds. My name is Peter for Nigeria.
Here at AliExpress Roofing, we're able to give you the best warranty you can get, a 5-star extended warranty, thumb guaranteed. It's called your Integrity Roof System, where we're going to give you a certificate.
Oh, sorry guys, I'm so sorry about that. So yeah, you hear that? Let me see here. What is wrong with Nigerians fighting for themselves instead of destroying destruct force of who are actually supposed? Exactly. Do you understand? Because even one of their senators came out. I'm sure you guys have seen that video where he was talking about how is it USAID or which one of the NGOs are direct sponsors of Boko Haram. You cannot go and meet the same people again who are causing problems for you to come and take care of your problems. Is that why they created it in the first place? So you see why people are hesitant. This is the reason why. You understand? It's Yaya Bello who I am telling you. Hey, God, I beg. See, this is where I got the first comment I shared. Joash Amukbiton, new INEC chair, once argued budget padding is lawful. Okay? That's what he argued. Let's listen to Chief Ame.
Offenses. So what do you think can be done to ensure that the process is better, enhanced and is qualitative? There are also calls that maybe tribe should also be put into consideration. So I'll start with you, Peter Ame.
I've said what needs to be done. First of all, we need to take the appointing authority from a man who is also a player in the game, where the president. We need to take the appointing authority for him. There have been several reviews. Justice Way Electoral Reform Panel of 2008 has recommended that. It just Electoral Violence Report of Justice Lemu 2011 recommended that. Kenneth Tunamani report under APC recommended that. So I don't know why we're avoiding that. And if you look at the Constitution has put safeguard on how to protect. We have a credible person that will lead the commission. You look at section 154 that talks about the consultation with the Council of State. The Council of State are not small people. These are former president, former serving governor, and former chief justice of the federation. If they can sit in a meeting and the president will present a candidate that is not qualified, that should not be done, and they look the other way, then we have a problem of character, not a problem of who appointing process. Then you have a process where you need to the National Assembly to also validate what the appointment is. Even to remove the INEC chairman, you need two-thirds. So all these things have been put in place, just like LNSC and other my friend have said. It's about issue of character. It's about issue of, do we really have the interest of this country at heart? But going forward, the commission too is overburdened. These are part of all the recommendations. We should be working towards unbundling the commission and keeping it in the straight still that the only duty is conduct of election, independent national election, not the one that is the commission is responsible for registration and regulation of political party. The commission is responsible for delineation of constituencies, also responsible for electoral offenses. So this heavy weight of work in that commission also undermines its effectiveness.
Let me tell you, I have a thought about what is happening, right, with this whole INEC thing. I'm pretty sure that T-Pain has approached Mahmoud and said, okay, we go again 2027. This is, you did a fantastic job before, so we got to carry forward, So are you with me? Mahmoud said they don't want them for not, right? They don't want them. Say no go survive them for not if you try them. That one say, Oga, I'm sorry, I won't be able to do it. Okay, that one will cut and say, okay, if you can't do it, then you have to step down. Okay, so instead of him to carry forward till 2027, because I am pretty sure Mahmoud was having a change of mind, and of course T-Pain does not trust because he's from the north. Like, okay, he might get influenced and he might be forced to do the right thing. So T-Pain they shake. Now it's okay, you resign, step aside, or you do what I want. Now the man decide to step aside, even though he left a disastrous foundation. Now, this man that has been chosen, he's been bought and paid already. Matter of fact, they already have the numbers they are going to use to announce the election come 2027. What I recommend is right now, everybody should put pressure and focus on INEC electoral reforms and insist that this man step down and make it that it is the citizens that are allowed to vote for their INEC chair. Otherwise, this is what we do, so now waste of time. Tinubu will do worse in 2027 and nobody will do anything about it. Is that what we want? This is my own take. Anyway, I find them having this conversation, this is what I'm going to say. May we not fool ourselves. There's no need. Okay? Now, do you know what's going on with POS? Now POS people, now they will come, they give you money. In fact, let me listen to this.
Must not do more than. The CBN has changed POS business in Nigeria permanently. If you know anyone doing POS, send them this video. Number one, you cannot have multiple POS anymore. So you go and collect from OP, collect from Zenith Bank, Access Bank, Kuda, Money Point. You have to select one. Number two, there's now a limit of 1.2 million naira that you can do per day. And each customer must not do more than 100,000 and 500,000 weekly, both for deposits and withdrawal. And if they are paying bills like buying airtime, buying electricity bill, they can't do more than 100,000 in a week and a day. For you to be a POS agent, you cannot have a non-performing loan. You can't have declared bankruptcy. If you've been convicted as a felon, committed fraud, or you have any dishonest activity, if your BVN has been watchlisted or blacklisted. So if you are owing Access Bank, Zenith Bank, Lapo, Money Point, Pampe, you can't be a POS agent again. The banks must do a credit check on you to make sure that you are not owing before they can onboard you as an agent going forward. Number two, if you've been convicted for any crime before as a felon, or you've been engaged in any fraud, you can't be a POS agent. If you've gone to declare bankruptcy, I don't have money again, you can't be a POS agent. If anything, you've had
seriously
an issue
illegal,
blacklisted your BVN, or your BVN is currently under a watch list, they're checking you for one crime or fraud or something or the other, you can't be a POS agent. And now you must sign an agreement with your bank, and these are the requirements of what will be inside the agreement. There are two types of agents, the individual and the non-individual. This one is for businesses. And for you to qualify as a non-individual, these are all the requirements you must, complete. Oh, did I forget? Before you are now onboarded as an agent, you must go through you must go through a training
Kai,
organized by
Nigeria.
either your bank or a super agent that's affiliated to a bank. And these are all the training that you must undergo. And now let me talk about this dedicated account. They will teach you how to use your dedicated agent account. Going forward, you can only use a dedicated account for your POS business with your bank. And that account will be monitored to check all the compliance. If you use any other account aside that account, you'll be blocked and blacklisted. Also remember that your POS business must be in a particular location that you cannot leave. You're supposed to provide that information to your bank. You're supposed to be within 10 meters, not more than 10 meters from where you say that is your location, and it will be monitored. If you live there, voila. All this will take place in the next 6 months by April 2026. Let me know your thoughts about this new rule in the comment section. Hey, be good, take care. That's online banker.
Johnson & Wales University has always been at the forefront of change. We were founded.
Wow. POS agents don't turn to mini. I don't even know what to say. Okay, let's listen to this quick video about how the Western powers turned designated criminals into strategic allies to further their geopolitical interests.
It's called transactional. Did you know some Western powers are now turning former criminals and even designated terrorists into global allies? From Syria to Nigeria to Kenya, leaders once accused of drug trafficking, violence, and corruption are suddenly being rebranded as strategic partners. In Syria, an ex-terror commander once hunted by the U.S. is now shaking hands with diplomats. In Nigeria, leaders with criminal pasts are being welcomed into billion-dollar deals. In Kenya, allies once facing war crime allegations are quietly returning to power. It's called transactional diplomacy, where power and convenience matter more than justice or accountability. Because in today's world, your past can be forgiven if you're useful enough.
Okay. Siam, Council of State approves Professor Sef Amupiton as INEC chair. Let's listen. You see the criminals when they're there. See them. Oh, Nigeria. See the man when they negotiate peace during the election. He did there. See am. See your Edo governor. Hey, Nigeria, you people are in trouble. Hey! Hi, Simeon. Welcome. Please, if you haven't done so already, double tap to like the live. Double tap the screen or click on the 3 dots. See you. Mama said, wait. Omo. See, look at them. Gang of thieves coming together to select someone that's going. More than just forget them. If you people don't do anything before 2020, by 2026, forget it, please. So. Oh my God.
You understand me? President Kano was in court. Was what? Was in court today. So we really want to know what's your position? His case is pending in court. Yes. I cannot comment on pending proceedings. I cannot comment on pending proceedings. You understand me? Because like you said, the case was in court today. All I can do for me is that is a matter that should be sorted out outside the courtroom. For me, it's a political case. Yeah, and if you have a situation where some governments are negotiating with bandits or the criminal elements, I mean, there can be no basis for not having that matter resolved politically. decided to pay a courtesy call on the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Oti, who actually used to be my colleague. We've maintained a relationship, and it wouldn't be proper if I didn't inform His Excellency that I'm in his estate. As they say in my place, you don't pass through the upper palace without saying, without paying your obeisance. You know, I just came to let the governor know I've been down, and then we had cause to.
You're welcome,
discuss
Simeon.
a couple of things. Well, I've been coming here since the inauguration of the civilian government since 1999. And I can say without any fear of contradiction that I've seen signs of governance, which was not there before. I've seen evidence of physical development. I've also spoken to people. It's not enough to go around and see physical development without finding out from the people how they are faring. And I've had very positive comments from the people. And so part of my discussion with His Excellency is how to intensify these efforts and ensure that the people remain the center of the administration. The people must benefit from the dividends of democracy. And that is the best measurement. I've gone around, I've seen gurus, I've seen good schools, hospitals. And I'm very confident that the government can do much more than he has done. And he owes some of us a duty, right, to ensure that it does not disappoint the people. Some of us will not spare him if he does disappoint the people. Yeah.
President Kano was in court. Was in court today. So we really want to know what's the position?
His case is pending in court.
Yes.
I cannot comment.
Okay, never mind. It's repeating itself. So basically, that's what it is today. I have, let me see. You know, David Omoye, he made comments about the road that they are doing, some kilometers that was awarded to Edo State. Apparently, they showed those roads. They are in a horrible state. Okay? So the man ain't doing jack. They're just collecting money from you people without doing anything.
This video. This President Tinubu, watch this video. These are your party members. These are APC members in the meeting today. All rejecting bow. They are tired. Liberation. Nobody can take it away. The people are ready. They are fully charged. These are your party members, APC. Rejecting bow. Rejecting underdevelopment. Rejecting him right now. Send people to Ekiti. People are out in thousands. Saying no more power, no more underdevelopment, no more bad road, no more bad hospital, no more hospital without equipment. Power must not be reinforced, President Tinubu. Watch, send someone to Ekiti. The whole state, watch this video. The state is hot now. People are out. APC members are out. Everybody are out saying no. We must not reinforce this failure. This failure must not follow us to 2030, like Omoye.
Well, they say na awalokan. So yeah, let's listen to what VDM had to say about this David Omoye's interview.
All right, so I just finished watching the interview between the Minister of Works, David Omoye, and Rufai of Arise TV. First things first. To the Minister of Works, David Omoye, you are a very big embarrassment to Nigeria, to yourself, and to your family, and also to the position that you occupy. Now, I watched the interview. I was so irritated and disgusted in my spirit.
Please, if you have not yet liked, kindly like the video. Double tap the screen to like the video. To those who have liked, thank you.
Now, we will self-acclaim things that they are not. Like the way you call yourself a professor, and you were not a professor. You know, no say Rufai no. Then they come catch you, come to say, professor in practicing. But you know what you did?
See that whole interview? He just showed me how the politicians and the people in power see the people. Do you understand? What was the problem? Rufai said you go report down to the president. You say he's too small. Fine and good. You understand? If you throw that one at Jan. But immediately he started saying, who are you? Who are you, Rufai? All those kind of things. It shows how these people in power see the people. What did Rufai do? He asked you for accountability. As simple as ABCD. Simple as ABC. You clearly just showed from this interview, right? You just showed that you don't even understand the position that you occupy. You know nothing about being Minister of Works. Tell us about ABCD per square meter. They say you collected over 600 and something billion naira for this project. And so far so good. You people even give us a time frame when you achieve this project. So far so good. It's not looking like it is achievable by that time. Simple thing. Rufai, as you claim to be an engineer, because everything when you talk myself I claim. As you claim to be an engineer, oh Rufai, let me lecture you. So it's so. Simple as ABCD. But you try as much as possible to avoid the question, no accountability, self-appraisal, and everything. That's what you were doing. But like I said, you exposed how the people in power see Nigerians when Nigerians ask for accountability, when Nigerians ask for good roads, when Nigeria asks for good schools, when Nigeria asks for good healthcare, when Nigeria asks that please, insecurity is too much, please protect us. This is probably how the people sitting in that position are looking at the people and look at them. They are too small to talk to me. I'm not even in their position. After all, they know they buy me. After all, my children don't need this healthcare. After all, my children don't need this school. After all, my children don't go to this hospital. This is how a lot of them in power look at us. Do you know the amount of confidence? Make David Umahi, the Minister of Works, sit down. They tell Rufai for national TV, say he's too small, bro. They are so comfortable in whatever thing that they are doing. Because yes, the people never get on a time yet. This is basically what it is. The people don't have your time yet. That's why you look at the people so small. And when they ask you for accountability, you get pissed. You are lucky that you are not in China. They won't buy one minister now. Minister of Agriculture for China here. They don't already sent this out. They're buying me. Beforehand, they don't buy one advisor like that for China. Once they just carry you for, they don't suspect you for bribery, corruption, all those guys small they say you collect money, you are gone. Dear Minister of Works, Mr. Omoye, you are obviously being fraudulent and dubious. And you are obviously a very blatant and a very big liar. So if they are suspecting you of corruption, it is not far-fetched. I'm not even in English. Because if you can come on national TV, you are going to be a professor, and you are not. So imagine how much you are going to doctor for documents. That being said, me personally, I look at that whole coastal highway project as a project to just siphon funds. You know why? Because as a Minister of Work, one of our major roads in Nigeria, which is the Lagos to Abuja route, they never had one. Lagos to Abuja, you go follow Ibadan. You know how many states you go pass before you reach Abuja? That road, only fixing that road, we help price of things go down. We help a lot of people not to be kidnapped. We solve the security problem. Imagine you do that road, put street lights, make it a proper highway. It says you go on the block road, then the block highway, then go put this scatter. A lot of roads in Nigeria will never fix, will not go to do new road. So what happens in the next 20 years? Maybe this coastal highway don't spoil. You abandon it for the new one. Yes, there's a need to create new roads in Nigeria, but come on. Even ask you again, it's okay, how about those people on the demolish their property when they protest up and then how far? You could not answer. Pride. Empty pride. Not self-esteem. Some people are saying, oh, Rufai said he's so emotional. He's actually rude. Why is talking to the man like that? I swear to God, the day when you start to see Nigerian problem direct, then you'll be able to access some information. You are privileged some information. If you see politicians for road, if you find a slapper. Not that one that they heal a lot of politicians. If you find out who's and slap for seats. I'm telling you for free. There are some things that you know. If you want answer, you're going to cry. Because Nigeria is worth crying for. But like I said, this David Umahi don't open my eyes to a lot of things. I said this is probably what the Minister of Defense is probably talking about when the people of Southern Kaduna, the people of Kogi, the people of Edo, the people of Benue, the people of Jos, the people of Brunu, and every other state that have been terrorized by insecurity, by these terrorists. This is probably what the person responsible for this position is saying. That they are too small to talk to me. Let them cry. The problem is that we don't hold these politicians accountable. That's why they do anything that they like. But very, very soon, we'll start holding people accountable. Maybe the likes of David Umahi, when you say don't check policy or truths, you just sit down there, people will talk to us well. Shows corruption. They ask you for accountability instead of you to talk, lie, giggle. But like I said, you just showed how much of a weak man that you are, inferior being. Because now people were not gates, where one feel more, when they feel now people get to complain. They like talk with it, they no big for people to see them big. That's why you're calling yourself that you're not lying professor. David Smell Mai, be David Lie Mai. Peace and love, don't play. That should go down and you will learn the hard way. Liar. Alright, so trap.
Okay, so when I hear this one, according to parallel facts, the Federal High Court has convicted ex-AMMC Director Garuba Dukus and sentencing him to 24 years for 318 million naira money laundering. Are you guys aware of that? I don't even know who this person is, to be quite honest with you. Maybe you guys will educate me.
And in the fullness of time, the former INEC chairman, the outgone chairman of INEC, Professor of Glitches Mahmoud Yakubu. Professor Mahmoud, congratulations on your successful retirement after 10 years of catastrophic leadership and electoral banditry over Nigerians with your gang of electoral bandits. Mahmoud Yakubu, you may retire for all you care and shamelessly hand over to whomever may be your man Friday. But Professor of Glitches, you will not be forgotten. And in the fullness of time, you go tell Nigerians waiting exactly caused the glitch for 2023. The lives of innocent Nigerians who have been impacted by your conduct and actions within the last 10 years, they will ask the questions and you will give the answers. Mahmoud Yakubu, thank you for teaching Nigerians to know, say, academic qualification and religious posturing in no mean integrity. But as you go into this your retirement, Professor of Glitches, now good time for you to finally realize, say, power is transient. And no matter how long time you spend for power, if you don't leave power, power will leave you. And one day, you too can be referred to as a former this or that. And Mahmoud Yakubu, now good time for you to finally think and introspect and ask yourself the question, was it really worth it? Your conduct within the last 10 years, was it really worth it, Professor Mahmoud? Mahmoud Yakubu, you wrote INEC position paper telling Nigerians and the world why electronic technology was the only way to go to achieve credible electoral process in this country. In your words, you say it is to reduce human interference as much as possible. Mahmoud Yakubu, at the end of 10 years, how far? Were you able to reduce human interference in our elections, or you became the major human interference? Professor of Glitches, were you able to reduce human interference in our electoral process, or you became the grand patron of human interference? May your conscience answer the question. Mahmoud Yakubu, 2018, you lead team of INEC staff to go NCC. You set up steering committee with the then ICT head of NCC, Umar Dambata. Una invite telecommunication agencies. They tell Una how they have helped JAM to conduct successful CBT. You say it must also be implemented in INEC. Mahmoud Yakubu, 10 years later, how far? What happened with the electronic technology you were championing? And what is the legacy you are leaving in INEC after 10 years? I don't blame you, Professor Mahmoud. It is not your fault. It is Nigerians, as we as a country, that permit and allow public office holders to engage in any level of corruption and criminality without consequences and accountability. But this 2027, where they come, God keeping us alive, the vote of the people must count. Nigerians must wake up and realize that until our votes begin to count, our lives will continue to be victims and not citizens. You don't hand over to anybody where you like, the most senior person there. But welcome to me, the madam where you hand over to Barrister Mary Agbamu Chembu, she's one of you in the electoral gang where to pretend the 2023 criminality you called elections. After all, the work of anybody they call acting INEC chairman, waiting it be. It is simple. To be placeholder for the destruction of the commission until a destroyer-in-chief is appointed by the presidency to come and completely destroy and continue from where you stop. 2015, Buhari appointed his own niece, Madam Amina Zakari, who began the complete destruction of the entire Jega legacy. And then he brought you in, who for 10 years have carried out this reign of electoral terror on Nigerians. Nigerians, the message now to all of us, National Assembly don't come back from holiday. They will begin implementation and passing amendment of Electoral Act constitutional review. Now there everybody must mount and place focus. Nigerians, we must raise the issue of free and fair election of an electoral crisis. Not the
Guys, please, if you haven't yet liked the video, kindly double tap on your screen device to like the video, please. Or click on the 3 dots to like the video, guys, please. Thank you very much.
Only to talk that National Assembly now where all men must mount on Occupy NAS to demand that the vote of the people must count. Because as Mahmoud don't finish in own go without consequences, they don't already they prepare for a replacement who will of course be worse than him. And if you do nothing, what you see is what you get. 2027, it will be Shege subscription renewal program. If the people where they prepare to destroy country, they mobilize, why are the victims of the wickedness not mobilizing? 2027, if President Tinubu and APC like, they should appoint their ancestors as INEC chairman. If 200 million people wake up and say your vote must count, it will begin to count. No letting it deceive you. Between now and January next year, when electoral law will be passed, I don't get any other work, God giving us life and strength, than this issue of INEC and judiciary and election. If judiciary been doing what they're supposed to do, we not go there where we did. But since judiciary has become a willing tool in the hands of politicians, and to reform them, we must go through National Assembly, then let us mount with National Assembly. Senate President Akbar, Speaker Tajuddin Abbas is back. Let us go and camp with them. Nigeria, while you you plug every loophole, there must be mandatory electronic transmission of result. It must reflect in the Electoral Act, INEC guidelines, and even Constitution where necessary. Insist on choosing your leaders. If Nigerians want to vote for a goat, let it be through a majority of the people giving a mandate. Make nobody come through window, come they pretend say you want the sweep house. No, the process of getting into power is more important than the power that you get. Everybody that needs to be called out, I go call out. There no one may we talk about, but we must talk about. These coming elections, Nigerians, let your voices be heard and make your votes count. Other than that, victimhood is waiting for all of us. Congratulations, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. As you pray every day throughout this your retirement to your creator, may you be reminded of what exactly caused the glitch. Have a successful retirement and may the force of the glitches be with you. My name is Peter for Nigeria.
Have a retirement he deserves. Which one be have a successful retirement? Look at him. Look at him. Look at
Tinubu, APC government. Tinubu, as I speak to you, they are seriously in panic mood in Nassau Rock. You know why? They've gotten a clue. They've gotten an hint that 2027, the new sheriff in town in US, in the person of Donald Trump, is likely going to replicate same thing that Obama did with Buhari against Jonathan in 2015. Please don't go anywhere. Pay close attention to all the proofs, all the evidence I'm going to be showing you. All right? Follow me closely as I take you through this step by step. Now, these guys, they fear. I saw there's this prophet. What's his name? Private Ayodele. I don't know if you saw the video. We said to Tinubu that Donald Trump was going to partner with Jonathan to remove him, this and that, okay? In 2027. I don't know if you saw that video. Firstly, before I proceed, I'm one person I don't believe on Private Ayodele. No. Because I'm also a prophet. We are speaking for the spirit and doing guessing work. I know. So, when he said that one, I agree. And I don't believe it was God that spoke to him. No. He also got the hint. Do you understand? So, follow me closely as I take you through this step by step. Recently, just I think yesterday or so, or over the weekend, Pablo Escobar was at Jos, right? Where he met with Christians. He had a closed door with them. He met with them, appealing to them to live in peace and harmony, you know, with their brothers and all. No need of this Bible because this is security and all. Now, the first question I want to ask, why is he doing this now? Last year, I don't know if you remember, the mask buying last that took place in Jos as well. Where Very Dark Man was there. It has been happening. It has not been going on. Why now? It's because that same clue I told you. That is. But before we get there, like I said, I'm going to take you through step by step. Before we get there, I want to first of all convey to you the hypocrisy of Pablo Escobar. In the year 2014, on the 14th of April 2014, Pablo Escobar tweeted, he said, on matters of security, the buck stops at president's table. Like other countries, Jonathan is the chief security officer. Stop Boko Haram. You wrote that in 2014, you said the buck stopped at President Jonathan's table. Why now? Why have you suddenly forgotten that the buck stopped at your table? You are not preaching that they should live in peace and harmony. So in 2014, you and APC, when you were spreading your propaganda, you guys didn't know that they should peace and harmony can save it, can stop the issue on ground. Now you are preaching peace and harmony. Guess what? They are sycophants, voluntary slaves. They will come out and say defend this absurdity. But let me proceed. He tweeted again, same day, Nigeria's
If you were born in the 80s or 90s, you grew up in a world that doesn't exist anymore.
What the heck?
You remember?
That was short. This is weird. I need to find the complete video. I'll bring it to you guys. Hold on 1 second. Let me see.
in panic mode.
1 second. Emmanuel. Okay. All right.
I'm representing Donald Trump.
And I am Tinubu. Good road.
Guys, please double tap your screen device to like. Abel, welcome.
Tinubu.
Double tap your screen to like, or click on the 3 dots to like, okay?
Free and fair election. Tinubu.
Yes.
Election rigging.
Donald Trump. No good election.
Leave am for him. Bad education.
Donald Trump.
Quality education. Tinubu. Development. Tinubu.
No think. It's you. I know what you can do.
It's me. Insecurity.
Donald Trump. Too much.
You have to change.
But yes, I will.
Integrity. I'm pure. Tinubu.
It's true.
The Jagaban.
It's true.
Most active president. That's me.
Yes.
Very active, online and offline. Cassava Gary Ewa.
Donald Trump. Don't take back.
That's what you promised them.
Yes, I'm giving them.
I'll give them. Cassava Gary
It's Donald Trump.
Job creation. Tinubu. All the youths in my country have jobs. All.
I'm seeing it.
All.
Nice work. I'm
All.
seeing your them.
Thanks to me, they are all doing TikTok. They all have jobs on TikTok. Will you beg him? I love them. Will you beg him? I love them. They are good to go. Yes. 24 hours live. That's me. Tinubu.
It's true.
Good governance. That's me. Tinubu. Kidnapping. That should be him. That should be him.
But we're still working on it.
Nah, just please.
We have every arsenal to do it. We are, it's just that. Don't worry.
Just try and help your people.
We know how to attack them, but don't worry.
Renew hope. Renewed hope.
Donald Trump.
That's what he promises people.
Yes.
Just do well for them.
I will.
You see, as I'm helping my country.
Yes.
Yeah. Has anybody complained?
No.
Even in this video when they watch the
Even when I'm sick, I come to Nigeria now.
to treat yourself. Yes. That's why we used to greet now. Have you seen me travel out to
the problem is that it's not like we don't have hospital.
You're welcome to my country.
Even in holiday, I come to Nigeria.
Yeah. 24 hours power supply. Inclusive politics. That's me. Everybody is allowed to vote and be voted for. Yeah? A free franchise.
Me, my side, animals even vote.
Animals vote in your side?
You count animals, children under age.
How?
Don't worry.
Bad health care service.
Donald Trump,
yes. Good one, good health care service. That should be me. Everybody's well. Well, as do you hear that any of my governors fell sick?
Nothing.
But you already said it that you used to come down to my country to treat yourself. That's cool. Good electoral system. That should be me. Free and fair election.
It's true.
Yes, free and fair election. Good roads. No good. Do you have good roads in your place?
No.
In America, do you guys have good roads?
Let's ask ourselves. Good roads.
I don't have good roads. Do you have good roads?
Bad roads.
Bad road. What else? Money laundering. That should be you.
This is Donald Trump.
Because we don't launder
high salary for policemen.
High salary for policemen. That should be me. When you go to my country, all the policemen,
they are happy.
I see them. Nobody
they don't stand by the road.
No.
Yes. Police stand by the road in US.
Yes,
they stand by the road.
They pursue people if you're this way. Do you guys have EFCC?
EFCC.
We don't have. Yeah,
we have FBI. FBI. The problem I have with FBI is that they go after young boys. After young boys. Instead of they have EFCC.
They were when I entered office, I told them stop it. They stopped. Right now, young boys are free. They can walk on the road.
EFCC in your side. Me, I have FBI. FBI. Instead of going after. They go after young boys. Instead of going after the politicians that are stealing.
You need to have strong voice. You need to tell them, stop it.
Recently in US, you will not believe, bandits came out to negotiate. I swear to God.
That's bad.
Now, me as the president, I don't know what to do.
You're fine.
I don't know.
That's
bad. You see the way they came out, they were driving by, they were negotiating
with your government.
For peace. Like I said, bandits.
They cannot try that with me. If they try with me, they will not go back. As they come with bike, they will be going back with cops. They cannot try that. No, they cannot try. We are living in a very good place. That's why, when last did I come to you for help? I cannot. Just do your thing. No. You ask me what you are the one that will do something for your country. Me as Tinubu, as the president of this country. Me and my people
things. I see the way you're doing it everywhere. But things are fixed. Even Lagos, I said before you left Lagos, it was now no flood.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do it that there's no more flood in Lagos?
You know, there was a time that Lagos was because of crowd.
Yes.
Too much of crowd.
So you resist people?
Yes. I told them, go to other
Tribalism, is it your side?
No.
It's my side. Tribalism, you see my people. Before you know, you say, I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, I'm outside. You don't know we have people in Yoruba outside US.
You do?
You see, during the election, you see Yoruba man will come and say, hey, if I catch any Igbo man, vote you.
No,
they did it now. They did it in my side. In my side. Lagos in US.
Yeah,
Lagos, they did it. One guy.
I've heard. I know him. I heard that they used to threaten people. Then, in our side is democracy. Everybody free, fair, vote and be voted for. If you need help, just come to me. Come to me, okay?
Where is the lie? This is very instructive. Where is the lie? I want to find that video for you guys because I want us to hear the complete video of this. Okay, so bear with me here for a minute. We're gonna be wrapping this up really soon. Nigeria. Make una forget if una not fix wetin dem dey call am electoral reform, una forget. There's no need though. There is no need. Okay, I found it.
They are seriously in panic mood in Nassau Rock. You know why? They've gotten a clue. They've gotten an hint that 2027, the new sheriff in town in US, in the person of Donald Trump, is likely going to replicate same thing that Obama did with Buhari against Jonathan in 2015. Please don't go anywhere. Pay close attention to all the proofs, all the evidence I'm going to be showing you. All right? Follow me closely as I take you through this step by step. Now, these guys, they fear. I saw there's this prophet. What's his name? Primate Ayodele. I don't know if you saw the video. We said to Tinubu that Donald Trump was going to partner with Jonathan to remove him, this and that, okay? In 2027. I don't know if you saw that video. Firstly, before I proceed, I'm one person I don't believe on Primate Ayodele. No. Because I'm also a prophet. We are speaking from the spirit and doing guessing work. I know. So, when he said that one, I agree. And I don't believe it was God that spoke to him. No. He also got the hint. You understand? So follow me closely as I take you through this step by step. Recently, just I think yesterday or so, or over the weekend, Pablo Escobar was at Jos, right? Where he met with Christians. He had a closed door with them. He met with them, appealing to them to live in peace and harmony, with their brothers and all. No need of this crime because this is security and all. Now, the first question I want to ask, why is he doing this now? Last year, I don't know if you remember, the mask buying last that took place in Jos as well. Where Very Dark Man was there. It has been happening. It has not been going on. Why now? It's because of that same clue I told you. That is. But before we get there, like I said, I'm going to take you through step by step. Before we get there, I want to first of all convey to you the hypocrisy of Pablo Escobar. In the year 2014, on the 14th of April 2014, Pablo Escobar tweeted, he said, on matters of security, the buck stops at president's table. Like other countries, Jonathan is the chief security officer. Stop Boko Haram. You wrote that. In 2014, you said the buck stopped at president's table. Why now? Why have you suddenly forgotten that the buck stopped at your table? You are not preaching that they should live in peace and harmony. So in 2014, you and APC, when you were spreading your propaganda, you guys didn't know that they should peace and harmony can save it, can stop the issue on ground. Now you are preaching peace and harmony. Guess what? They are sycophants, voluntary slaves. They will come out and say defend this absurdity. But let me proceed. He tweeted again, same day. Nigeria security outlook is depressing. It's depressing. So as 2014 was depressing, now it's not depressing. The unending attacks suggest a failure of intelligence. Government must rethink its strategy. Must rethink its strategy. Proceeded. Just as Jonathan laps up praises, he must bear responsibility and accept blame over Boko Haram Delhi attack. You said this, so why now? But let me proceed. So he met with them, preaching they should live in peace and harmony. Please, before I proceed further, permit me to just show you a clip, an excerpt from the video before proceed. Thank you. I'll be right back.
Ross, love is what you preach, and we should love one another. Nobody determine what God has ordained. God's ordained action and his promises is what matters. I inherited Islam from my family. I didn't change. But my wife is a pastor. He prays for me. No conflict. And I never did at any single time to convince her or combat her. I believe in the freedom of religion. We are praying to the same God.
Now, in another appearance, Senate President Akpabio also spoke on the issue of security, saying that with the National House of Assembly, we partner with executive to tackle insecurity. Okay? Okay. I want to show you evidence approval. If you go anywhere, you miss. Let me show you what Akpabio said. I'll come and show you guys the proofs of what I'm saying. I'll be right back. Like and share this video.
To see to it that at the end of the day, people in the IDP camps can return to their homes. It's quite a pity that this has gone on for decades, unchecked. But with the determination and the support of the National Assembly and all stakeholders, I believe that peace must return to the plateau. Peace must return to North Central. And nothing can be achieved without God. So he made the pronouncement in the church, and he has handed over the entirety of Nigeria to God Almighty. And with God on our side.
So, as you can see, before I show you the evidence now, the evidence I'm about to show you. One, Tinubu appearing when he attended, went to Jos, APC chairman area, okay? Yellow Water. So he attended it, he met with all the Christians, also had a closed-door meeting with them in the church. Same time, Akpabio is doing this. The question I want to ask you guys is this. This guy has been consistent. This thing, the worst that happened in Benue, it was after so much outcry. You understand? Before he went. In different parts, sometimes they don't even issue a word. Okay, why? Now, here's the reason why they are doing this. Recall yesterday, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, he first of all dropped a write-up on X, which I read to you already. The first right to be dropped was this: officials in Nigeria are ignoring and even facilitating. He accused them now of ignoring and facilitating the mass buying of Christians, Islamic jihadists. It is time to hold those responsible accountable. My Nigerian Religious Freedom Accountability Act would target these officials, with powerful sanctions, powerful sanctions and other tools. Now, it didn't stop there. Today, he has dropped the bill. Let's read this on the cable. According to Cable Network, U.S. Senator proposes bill to sanction. He has officially submitted the bill. U.S. Senator proposes bill to sanction Nigeria officials over alleged buying of Christians. Now, what does the bill contain? One, the proposed bill also calls for targeted sanction against Nigeria officials, one, who enforce Sharia and blasphemy laws, requires the U.S. Secretary of State to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern, CPC, country of particular concern, and requires that Boko Haram and ISIS swap West Africa remain designated as entities of particular concern. Now, what do you understand? What does it mean for a country to be designated as a country of particular concern? Number one, when a country is designated as a country of particular concern, it means the things they have accused this country of, right? It means it's not official. Indeed, they are guilty of it, right? Now, when it's not designated they are guilty, so what does that mean? There will be heavy sanctions that will not only just affect even the citizen, it will affect those even with diplomatic passport. It will affect Pablo Escobar himself. This thing also is likely to affect Pablo Escobar return to office. Remember the video that Obama released just an eve to the election, or a week to the election. That video, you must have seen it. Where all Nigerians vote against this, vote against that, against Boko Haram. They use it to campaign. If you remember, his Secretary of State are not coming to meet with Buhari, meet with APC. They went there meeting and all. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right now, as soon as this thing has happened, and since this thing happened, if you notice this thing, you take a look at what is also in the screen now. Since Donald Trump emerged, came to office, if you observe it, the U.S. mission to Nigeria, right? They have been acting of more of an activist, than official, than diplomacy. Now, there was a write-up that they released, a statement they released. I published a video here where they all said that Nigerian politicians are, instead of taking care of Nigerians, they are, investing our money in big mansions everywhere, different parts of the world. Okay. Now, look at one of their statements to also buttress what I'm saying. One of the statements they released, U.S. mission. They said, according to U.S. mission to Nigeria, he said, fighting corruption knows no borders or limits on accountability. This was when Sowore started fighting Wiki. They released this statement. This is on the 22nd. They released this statement. Check your screen. On the 22nd of September 2025, where Sowore started fighting Wiki, Tinubu's minister, they said, fighting corruption knows no borders or limits on accountability. Even when high-profile individuals engage in corruption, they can be barred from receiving U.S. visa. This one they are going now is going beyond U.S. visa. But I'm just showing you one of their activity posts. Do you guys understand now? So, they've been speaking out since Donald Trump came aboard. Now, as they start, all these things they are doing now, their allies will follow. In Europe, sympathetic to Christian allies in Europe, in different parts of the world will follow. See, Nigeria can't stand this thing. They can't stand the sanction that will come. It will affect the country heavily. Not only really affect the country heavily. This political elite, you see that we're doing Jagaba, they will be humbled. It will. You look at the word that Senator Ted Cruz using that word. He said they will be given heavyweight sanctions. You guys understand the gravity of this. So APC, this is the reason why as I speak to you, they are in disarray. They fear, they are panicking that what they did to Jonathan Goodluck in 2027, in 2015 is likely to happen to them. Galatians chapter 6 verse 7, the Bible says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, he shall reap. And I tell people, whatever we do every day is a seed. Try to be sincere. Try to live an honest life. Because whatever you are doing every day now is a seed. You are planting a seed. Be rest assured, tomorrow you will reap the harvest. So what do you do? Since you know what you do today, you will reap the harvest tomorrow. Never you sow a seed, you will not be able to reap tomorrow. Tinubu, who said the bus stopped at Jonathan's table. Now today is his turn. No matter the miss he used to get there, it's his turn. He forgot that the bus stopped on his table. He's not begging. Leave him, have money, in peace. He refused to speak, so. But now that they are seeing fire on the mountain, what they have stolen, they don't make deliver. They are seeing it coming from everywhere. I also remember, in the video I released today, the Sahel region, they made a statement. They say, Interpol will shine their torchlight. Don't be surprised when you start seeing your politicians, some of them will be extradited, some of them they will travel to arrest them, they will jail. It will start happening soon. Not only will they not stop them from coming back, these people aren't going to touch them. What's your take on this, please? I really want to see your sincere opinion on this. Leave it at the comment section. Both for Emily like this video and please share. Thanks and God bless you. In case to
Okay, so hey, Luke, Madam Luke, welcome. Oh, how's everything? Trust you're good. Makeup show and event. Welcome. Useless where they fear their slave masters and the possibility of freezing their stolen loot. I beg, make una double tap the screen to like the show. I beg, I dey beg una. Or click the 3 dots to like if you never do so already. Thank you. And the possibility of freezing their stolen loot and traveling to the west more than their people. Hey, my people. See, the only thing when I go talk before I end this show now, you see this electoral reform, this election, this INEC issue, everybody need to sit down on top. You see that Lupita or Lilliput or whatever the name is, na National Council na im accept am. Una see the faces of all the people that made up the National Council, ex-governors, all bandits and leaders of terrorists. Okay, allegedly, okay, na dem full there. They are all there because their interest is served. It is in their interest that they put someone that they are sure will throw his weight behind the mess that they are doing. Let me tell you, this Kogi or Kwara or wherever he comes from, the agenda when they get for the whole of Nigeria, if you know, you know, still persists. That is the driving force behind choosing this man. Aside from the fact that he's Yoruba, aside from the fact that he has been defending the policies of this government, you know, a lot of information is coming out about him. So my own be say everybody, if we know what we they do, you see as Peter Aka talk am, na so it need to be. Otherwise we go nowhere. 2026 go come. These people before, in fact, they fit even announce the winner of the election 2026. You think it's not possible? Watch. Your National Assembly does not give a damn about anyone. They are not interested. You think say Akpabiole, you think he's ready to leave that place? He's not. He does not want his sins to be exposed. So guess what? He will do whatever it takes. All of them have sworn to secrecy. You not see your D7? Oh yeah, though people, your D7 is there while Oba market is on fire. While other market, I heard another market, I'm not sure where, is on fire. Una no gree give T-Pain daughter the Yaloja title that is looking for. Una no let her establish am. Okay. He come today, una reject am. All right. Your Oba market is on fire. I not talk say na put fire. I'm just saying. The witch cry today, tomorrow baby die. I don't understand. You understand what I'm saying? So this man, he gets what he wants by terror, using terror. If you not give away what you want, it go cause kata for where you dey. So na choice. If una wan continue like this, say, oh, we are exhausted with the issues of Nigeria, na una dey allow them exhaust una. If they get citizens wey carry craze for head, when go exhaust the government, we no go dey where we dey. The man has just borrowed another money. Who wan pay all that money? The children wey una dey born, una dey think of their future? Na question I ask so. Because the children, when they go born, they never pay that money finish. Oh. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this election matter, everybody need to sit down on top of the matter to ensure, sit on their heads, give them sleepless nights. This is the one of the most critical things that people should be pressing on about. Put bigotry aside for a minute, because if now who you see, now you dey bigoted too. If you not see the person, you want to dey bigoted. Even if not only you remain for the country, you say you don't want others, may they dey the same place, not only you remain, you still say they go spare you. When they not see who they want to they put against each other, they go use you against each other within your tribe. So I rest, my people. Now here I go end up for now. I go see you now on my next one. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you everyone that was able to join. Have a wonderful day.